Someone recently gave me a DVD. This preacher is going around on tour, doing a really a much better job of this than I'm going to do right now, but I wanted to share it with you in its shorter form. Man, if you think that you have any idea of the creativity of the Father, you need to think again. In this picture, the sun, which is 109 times larger than the earth, represents just a single pixel. I mean, you can see, if you can see that little dot right there, that represents our sun. And really, that's probably large. To the right of that is Alberio. And, you know, if you consider that, that thing's a lot. That's a star that's much, much larger than our sun. To the right of that, you see Kochab, which is really huge, man. I mean, if we saw that coming up over the horizon, we'd probably all have a heart attack, you know, and run the other way. To the right of that is the first blue one, that's Rigel. And to the right of that is Denab. Look at Denab. You know, we look up at the night sky and we see all these stars, but we don't realize what we're looking at. If you're living in a, you know, populated area like I am, you don't even see the sky at night. You know, years ago I lived upstate New York and it used to be quite magnificent. Anyway, look at Denab compared to our sun. I mean, is that a wow factor or what? Well, hang on, we're not done. Here we go. On the left side, you see what we've been looking at, the sun, Alberio, Kochab, Rigel, and Denab. Look at the pistol star. Man, I mean, how many of our suns could you fit inside that? To the right of that, look at the ruby star. I mean, that makes Denab look, you know, really small. You know, even with this graphic, I know we're not really getting the full picture of it. Anyway, let's move on. There's the pistol star. You know, we just looked at that one with the ruby star next to it. And there's Antares. Holy mackerel. Look at the size of that thing. I mean, wow. It makes Denab, you know. How many Denabs could you fit in there? 15, I'm guessing. Let's move on. There's Antares. You know, we just saw Antares is like a huge, you know, you could take and put all of these inside of Antares, no problem at all. But now look at Antares compared to Betelgeuse or Betelgeuse. You know, Antares dwarfs everything. Betelgeuse is, I guess, twice the size of Antares. Now, look at Betelgeuse compared to, whoa, G64. Over here is the name of that one. WOH G64, man, that thing, holy moly, blows your mind looking at these things. Next, we have WOH G64 on the left, VV Cephi is on the right, and it's quite a bit larger. Moving on from that, VV Cephi on the left now, and VY Canis Major on the right. That thing, I believe it's the largest star that we've discovered, you know, so far, right? Here we go. There's VY Canis Major, or VY Canis Major. That thing is huge. And on the left, you know, the size of these over here, I haven't changed. That's exactly what we started with. I didn't make them look smaller. They look smaller to me right now. But you remember those guys? Look at that compared to this Vicanus Major. Wow. I mean, good grief, man. And if you look at Psalm 147, verse 4, it starts back at verse 2. It says, Yahweh builds up Yerushalayim. He gathers the outcasts of Israel, heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Look at verse 4. He appoints the number of the stars, and he gives names to all of them. You know, we can't count the number of stars. And, of course, you know, he created them, but he knows each one of them by name. He's familiar with everything he creates. Once again, look at what we started with. There's our sun. And look at Vicanus Major. Hello. Now here, this picture over here is the center of the M51 Whirlpool Galaxy, a picture taken by the Hubble telescope. Look at the cross that you see there. Is that interesting or what? I have a punchline that follows this, but I'm going to read this to you. The decay in the speed of light theory shows that the universe is not as old as modern science calculates. You know, they're always talking about 100 million years ago, you know, this thing happened. And I'm always like, really? Were you there with a camera or something? The theory also explains why Adam and Eve, Adam and Chava, had very long lives, and the longevity of people after the fall of Adam began to decline in concert with the decay in the speed of light. The decay in the speed of light theory is also supported by the word of Yahweh, which states that Yahweh stretched out the heavens in Isaiah 42:5, 45:12, 48:13, 51:13, and Jeremiah 10:12. The stretching out of the heavens and the decay in the speed of light make present-day galaxies appear to be billions of light years away, as calculated by the current speed of light. In fact, they could be much closer, and the age of the universe much less, because of this stretching and the associated higher speed of light. This theory is not the same as the expanding space theory that is devoid of an explanation for the expansion. Now, the pastor who's on tour doing a wonderful presentation on all of this, he was finished with his tour. I think it was in Texas, and he was heading back home, if I remember right, to Georgia. And he met a guy out in the parking lot who I think he had attended, and he went up to the pastor, and he was thanking him, and the pastor asked him, you know, about himself, and turns out the guy was if I remember right, a molecular biologist at one of the nearby colleges. And the pastor told him that he was, you know, going back home, and he was going to, you know, put this completion to this whole thing. And the guy said to him, he says, do you have a left hook? In other words, do you have a punchline to your presentation? And the pastor said, well, no, I don't. And the guy told him, he says, you need to look up laminin. He says, do you know what laminin is? The pastor, he says, no. Long story short, he says, when you go home, go to Google, type in laminin, L-A-M-I-N-I-N, into Google Images, and see what you come up with. So he went home, and here's what he came up with. Laminin. Look at... The thing about laminin, the guy was so excited about laminin, and he says laminin is what holds everything in our bodies together. Without laminin, our skin would fall off. It wouldn't hold to the ligaments, and ligaments wouldn't hold to the bones. The laminin holds everything together. So up here in the top left is a bit from Wiki. It says laminin, a cell adhesion protein molecule found in the extracellular matrix, the sheets of protein that form the substrate of all internal organs, also called the basement membrane. Laminin is vital to making sure overall body structures hold together. Now, considering that, we take a look at Colossians chapter 1, 15 through 20. The focus here is on verse 17. But in 15 it starts talking about Yeshua, our Messiah, Mashiach, who is the likeness of the invisible Elohim, the firstborn of all creation. Now, I want to stop right there. First of all, I have to clarify that. That does not mean that Yeshua was born. He's the firstborn of all creation. That's referring to his resurrection from the dead. He's the first to be raised from the dead, the firstborn of this new creation that the Father is bringing in. What is it? In the book of John, First John chapter 3, verse 2, it says, "Beloved ones, now we are children of Elohim, and it has not yet been revealed what we shall be." The Father's doing something that he's never done before. The angels don't even know what he's up to. So when it talks about Yeshua being the firstborn of all creation, it doesn't mean that he was born. He's not a created being. He was in the beginning. In the beginning, was the Word, and the Word was with Abba Father. So let's just make sure we're clear on that. Verse 16, it says, "Because in him were created all that are in the Shamayim, and that are on earth, visible and invisible." Through Yeshua, angels, invisible, were created by him. Whether thrones or rulerships or principalities, all or authorities, all have been created through him and for him. Here's the kick. "And he is before all, and in him all hold together." I want to read to you from the Amplified Bible, verse 17 here. It says, "And he himself existed before all things, and in him all things consist, cohere, are held together." It's Yeshua, Mashiach. In him all things hold together. Now look at this laminin. It's the shape of a cross, and it holds all things in our bodies together. Just another little point. I was watching one of these science shows on Discovery Channel or whatever, and they were talking about gravity and the fact that it holds all things together. But they were expounding on the fact that they don't have a clue what gravity is. But they know that it holds everything in the universe together. And I was sitting there saying, well, obviously gravity is the power of Yeshua, because he holds all things together. So I just wanted to share this with you. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to see how huge the universe is. That laminin holds all things together. Look at it. It's the shape of a cross. And here in the Whirlpool Galaxy, there's this black hole. Look at it. It's the shape of a cross. Anyway, I hope this has been a beracha to you. I know it was to me, and I wanted to share it. Shalom.